Hey guys, this is John Menard here, the creator of CrispCube. In this video, I wanted to catch you guys up on the status of CrispCube and what's been going on. A few weeks ago, I actually quit my full-time job in order to focus on CrispCube. What was happening is that I would work a full day, and by the end of the day, I just didn't have the motivation or energy to put into CrispCube. And in the back of my head, I always had this constant feeling, this gnawing at me that I needed to complete this game. So eventually, I made the decision to leave that job and focus on CrispCube. That means that the rate of development for CrispCube is going to be much greater. One of the first big things that I was able to accomplish in the past few weeks is complete all 10 levels in the first world. This is going to be about an hour of gameplay depending on the skill of the player, depending on if they complete the level first time, or maybe they're trying to get crisp completions for each level. That's going to change the amount of time for each individual player. But overall, I'm expecting about an hour, 2 hours for the average player. In terms of gameplay, I've made a few small yet impactful changes. The first change is increasing the cube roll speed. And what this does is it just reduces the downtime that you end up waiting for cubes to roll onto your triggers. The second one is I've actually increased the cube delay whenever a cube is cleared. What this means is that once you clear a cube, it becomes a lot easier to chain a bunch of cube clearing. So you might trigger your standard trigger, then followed by your special trigger, and in some circumstances, you can actually chain multiple special triggers. So that makes that whole situation a lot more tangible for players. With the graphics and the visuals, the first thing I changed is on the cubes themselves. If we look closely, we'll notice that there's a white outline on the cubes. The purpose of that outline is so that we can distinguish one cube from the next. In the case where the cube type is the same, so for example, let's say we have two normal cubes side by side, without the outline, they would just completely blend into each other. The issue was that the outline was too pronounced, so it actually hurt the overall visual aesthetics. So what I did there is I just reduced it, and I find it looks a lot better. With the background, there used to be these 2D sprite clouds. Those still exist on the main menu. I just didn't like the contrast between the nebula and the 2D sprite clouds, so they've been removed. The original plan with the background colors is that they would change between worlds. But after getting some feedback, someone suggested that they actually change between levels, or they said it kind of all feels the same. So what I've done is every time you complete a level or go from one level to the next, there's a different color scheme with a different ambient light, which makes each individual level feel unique and distinct. Whenever a cube was cleared previously, there were these cube outline particles. These have been removed to clean up the visual clutter. And on that note for visual clutter, I've also simplified the way special triggers are presented. They used to have these sort of like donut shapes at the top, and now it's just a sphere, and I find it clears up the visual language of the game. And the last note here on the visuals is that the UI, the HUD specifically, has been redone. I think it looks a lot cleaner, although you'll notice that everything is left aligned so the right side looks kind of empty. However, I'm going to be doing something on the right, I think with the mini-map to say like where you are in the level. Now, how are people going to learn how to play the game? Previously, I had the idea that they would sit there and watch a video tutorial and eventually they would be experts on how to play the game. However, I thought, you know what? People are going to buy a game. Nobody wants to sit there and watch a video tutorial. So instead, what I opted for was to have the first level in the first world be a tutorial to explain the first 3 cube types and generally how to play CrispCube with some text prompts. But the one thing that players aren't picking up on is that as you play well, the play area, or what Mr. Crisp stands on, the platform, expands, and as you commit errors, the platform will shrink. So what I'm thinking of here is I'll have a mini-map type thing on the right-hand side that will communicate that concept to the player. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've been able to make in these past few weeks. I would say maybe I could make a little bit more progress on the marketing front. A lot of people still have not even heard about CrispCube at all, and that's sort of like my shortcoming that I have to make up with. I have to produce more content, I have to tell more people on YouTube and Twitter and social media and all that kind of stuff. But I would say if you're interested in trying out the beta and providing feedback to the game, go ahead and join the Discord down below and I can certainly hook you up with a beta key. Additionally, if you want to support the channel by subscribing, that'll also help out the visibility for this channel. As well, one final note, if you guys would wishlist the game on Steam, that would be greatly appreciated. It's something to do with Steam's algorithms. The more wishlists you have, the more likely they are to promote your game. See you guys later.